All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just I was trying to get on Facebook, trying to change it up, switch it up a little bit, but Facebook just always wants to simply just delete and block all of my lives because they think I'm just playing music in the background. So I know I played music in the beginning, but I actually was not, and they just blocked everything. So we'll just keep it here on YouTube. Just wanted to make sure that I did, in fact, just stay consistent on jumping onto the charts with everybody. Really help myself and help my students by helping me identify what you guys would like to take a look at, right? Because I take the time out throughout these sessions to obviously give back as much value as I possibly can. But I'm also doing this so that way I can identify some high probable trade opportunities for students, whether it's going to come in the form of a signal, a big lot size signal, or a actual entry in our auto trader. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, I just see that I just got some other messages on my other computer. I got like 3 computers working in front of me, so I'm always like multitasking. But again, good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a great week so far. I know it's only Wednesday, but again, even though it's the middle of the week, there's a lot of happiness and a lot of I would say joy. You can be happy throughout the week, so hopefully everybody's enjoying it so far. I'm also waiting on my overlays so that way our stream here could be a lot better. It'd be a lot more, I would say, more valuable, a lot more valuable for you guys. I'm gonna have a lot of like new stuff going out. Our Discord here is getting worked on as well. I lost the the access to it because I gave the access to the individual who's going to be working on the Discord for us. So if you're not in our Discord, this is the public side of the Discord. I didn't realize how weird this looked, and so I'm actually getting this reworked. So even if you're not a student or a member with us, you'll be able to still get tons of value through our Discord. So if you're not a member of that, feel free to go into the description. You'll be able to actually go and get the link for that, so that way you could be able to stay updated with any future events, live sessions, signals, chart markups, and everything as well. So again, good morning. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Let's get started. So I also want to let you guys know real quick, there is a huge delay on this stream between me and you. So I have no idea why that is. I personally don't know how to fix that currently. I'm in the works of fixing that so everybody can obviously be updated as I'm speaking. I don't want it to take 3 days for you to get the information. So I also want to make sure that I'm staying relevant. So any questions that you guys have, feel free to let me know. If there's any markets that you would like to specifically look at, also feel free to let me know what those markets are. I'll mark those up, kind of give you an idea of what I believe and think is going to happen. As we do that, it's going to help me understand a lot, as well as what I'll be trading for students for the day and even throughout the week and maybe even longer. So we'll definitely take a look at some things that I personally will be trying to go for students as far as a signal. And I'll also share some signals with you guys. I have not, except for one, I believe, which was yesterday for USD JPY, which we'll go over and kind of look at because it's kind of by our entries. So we can actually take a look at that and possibly take another entry on that. If nobody was able to place that, you guys can actually identify the potential profits on that as we are on this call. Low latency mode on YouTube. Is that really it? I'll definitely take a look at that because I want to make sure that there's no actual, delay between me and you guys. What's good, my man's Rome? What's good, homie? All right, so what markets would you guys like to take a look at? What questions do you guys have? Again, this is going to help myself for students. And again, I'll try to share a signal or two with you guys. We'll actually go ahead as we wait. Before anything, we'll actually go over to USD JPY because as we look at that, or as we're on a call rather, there's a potential trade that we could take on this. Now, I'm going to get rid of everything we have here. And the reason why I'm on the weekly was actually because of Bitcoin. But the reason why we are looking for potential sells here on USD JPY is because of what we can see here on the weekly. So, excuse me. My approach to trading is to try to make it as simple and easy as possible, right? I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything. I don't want to make a headache of things, and I should start making a headache of things because the markets are giving me a headache with how they've been reacting. I feel like nothing's been working on a technical standpoint, especially today. Like, I'm not placing any trades anymore because of today. If we actually go ahead, take a look here at Forex Factory, it is very risky for me to even be trading USD pairs as an individual, especially USD JPY because it has a US cross pair. Because of how much news we have today, right? We have Canadian dollar, especially the US dollar. Like, that alone is going to be insane. We actually have some news coming up, so we'll be able to see how that's going to react within the markets here at 8:30, so about 25 minutes. We can also see here at 2 p.m., we have FOMC, which has a giant impact in the news. So anything USD cross pair related, golds, even silver will most likely have a strong reaction during that time. And then later tonight, we also have the Aussie news. So it's very risky for us to be trading for the most part, right? So what I do want to take into consideration is obviously that factor. But I still want to identify everything on a technical standpoint because what I believe is that the markets usually use the news as an excuse to continue in a direction, right? So if we could see a market, excuse me, I think I'm getting sick again. New York City is crazy because it's like, it's still considered winter, if you will, but it's like 60, 70 degrees outside. It's insane. This weather's killing me. So what we can see here is this level of structure, right? And again, I'm on the weekly time frame. It's a pretty significant and strong time frame. And anytime you see structure on these time frames, I mean, you can't ignore that. So what I'm looking at, again, is this level of structure, this resistance. And we'll actually just write this out so that way nobody's confused. Strong resistance. So me seeing this level of strong resistance, and again, weekly time frame, hint, hint, right? You can see that this level of structure is pretty strong. We'll scale down to a daily time frame. And we're starting to see that, again, after a strong impulse, this being the lows, that being the highs, there should be some type of correction. So I'm starting to identify our candlesticks. And again, if you don't understand your candlesticks, I suggest you do. So we'll actually just do this. We're getting candlestick confluence. Oh, I spelled candle wrong. For some reason, I cannot spell. Candlestick confluence. I got 2 spaces there. Even that's terrible. All right, so candlestick confluence, right? And that's just telling me that we're starting to get an idea. The market is developing and probably making up its mind like, okay, well, after the strong impulse, is probably going to be a potential sell going on. So we go from here to possibly this correction. We're still on a higher time frame being the daily. That's a pretty big confluence, right? Being the fact that if we are at this level of structure, we have a strong impulsive move. The candlesticks are showing me some type of weakness. They're developing into some type of weakness. That can be the idea or the catalyst to sell back down to at least here, right? On a higher time frame, that sell, that's a pretty big move. That's a lot of money. So the reason why I'm marking this up as, you know, a level of structure is because that was a level of previous resistance. So I'm going to mark that up here. I'm going to get rid of this structure up here because when we scale down, as you see, everything is going to be blue. That's why I don't like my zones that big. What I will do is just add a line here, though. Just so that way I understand exactly where I'm at. I know that that's a high point and also a level of structure just in general. And I'm looking at this as a zone because it should correct back down to that point. Scale down even further. What can we see? Candlestick confluence, right? The market is showing me some type of idea that the market is, again, looking bearish. It's setting up. It's developing into that idea. Now, what we can see here is a bearish engulfing candle and a break, somewhat of a break to the downside. Not really a strong break. When we scale down to a smaller time frame, you'll see what I mean, because now when we scale down to the 1 hour time frame, what did this give us? It actually gave us a double top. Right, so I see this double top being here and this being our low point. I need this to be broken in order for sells to be really confirmed, right? As far as a double bottom is concerned. But what we did, in fact, was actually sell from here. So you guys can actually go ahead, and if you would like, you do not, and I repeat, you do not have to do this, especially with news coming out. So I might actually go ahead and take some profits on this before news comes out. For FOMC rather. So what I will look at is I'll actually put a 50 pip stop loss on this because if news kind of goes funky, it can spike up really heavy for a quick second and then come crashing right back down lower. So our entries are roughly around this area, if I'm correct. I'll actually let me actually take a look. Oh my, that computer's like all. I didn't realize I didn't even have the mouse plugged into the other computer, so I'm over here trying to use it and it didn't work. All right, so I'll take a look at that after. I guess I got so much going on this desk with 3 computers and like all this other stuff. All right, so our entries are roughly around here. Now, the volatility before a news event is pretty much non-existent. So you're not going to get a giant move right now. But I would say, I mean, even here within 20 minutes, there might be a move because we do have some news. I would also think that, not even think, I know, especially during FOMC, you're going to have a strong reaction. So what I'm hoping is that the dollar eventually loses its initial steam and starts to push to the downside, right? At least for this, right? Because USD JPY itself, it's been very bullish, and it's came to such a strong level of structure that I would believe that that will be the catalyst, right? The barrier that cannot be broken, and the news, right, is I would say, the moment or the volatility needed for it to make its bearish reaction from here. So I do think that USD JPY will remain to the not remain, has been bullish. I think USD JPY will take a turn to the downside, but I don't think that, I mean, the risk behind it rather is extreme, especially again because of all this news. So it's very risky of what I'm personally doing, right? I'm going to go ahead actually and place another sell. Like I'm on my phone right now, going ahead and looking for that right now. But I would be looking for that potential sell. And I've already gone ahead and placed that. So I placed another sell here on USD JPY. So my trade looks something like this. So, and I'm still going to keep that 50 pip stop loss. I'm not changing that. So my entry being here, 50 pip stop loss, my take profits being right down here, because this is going to be considered a buy range, right? Oop, didn't mean that. Let's do this. So that'll be considered our buy range, because as you can see here, this is a break of structure. So we'll just put break of structure. Oh my God, I can't spell today. Break of structure. So with that break, I would like to see a retest of that set point, and with that retest, that'll show me a potential buy entry. So we'll actually just write this out as a buy zone. So that alone is going to give me a strong idea for potential trades in the near future. Now, if everybody's like, but Jay, like that's the smaller time frame or the high time frames, the daily, the weekly, I'm only placing one trade a decade, I feel like. No, you actually use these higher time frames for that purpose of placing multiple entries, right? I think everybody has that misconception that when you're identifying, you know, in the higher time frames being the daily, the weekly, the monthly, that you're not placing as many entries as you would like to. And that's false, because if I see right now on the daily and even here on the weekly, because this is where we originally got our analysis from and our structure, that can tell us a long-term move. What does that mean? That you don't have to go into the charts and figure out, am I bullish, am I bearish? You already know you're just bearish. 50% of the work is done. You go ahead on the smaller time frames, get detailed, find your entries. And that's what we're going to hope for here with USD/JPY. If this can, in fact, push down lower or actually start to show us the sells, this will be more along the lines of a long-term sell, especially if this is broken here. If this is broken, forget about it. You're not even going to worry about any type of buys whatsoever. But from right here, I really do believe there should be some strong buys. But right now, we're looking for sells. These sells can continue to push down lower. And we can sell this for God knows how long, right? We get a little bit of profits here. Let's say it does this. Respects this sell or this minor level of structure. Comes back up. We already know it's a sell. We place another entry here. Comes crashing back down, breaks that structure. We already know it's a sell. We place another entry there. We already know it's a sell. Place another entry there. Another entry. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean about using the higher time frames, because a lot of people think that you're not, you know, being able to place multiple trades when that's the false narrative. You're actually able to continue with the trend and find so many re-entries that you could just literally make money off of just one chart, USD/JPY. You know what I mean? Or any chart for that matter, but just USD/JPY, since we're talking about it right now. But yeah, USD/JPY is a strong idea that I do believe should be a sell entry. That'll be the trade that we have for today, at least for the for YouTube and on the public side. But I would say be stupid, like risk management conscious, right? I mean, I can't. There's nothing I personally could do about this, the red folder news, or just news in general. So if you are in fact placing this trade, please be extremely careful, because again, news will be, I mean, we even have news coming out here in a little bit. That alone could just be like, forget your stop loss and just skyrocket to the upside. I don't believe that's going to be the case though. I think a lot of the news will be reserved for FOMC. So that'll probably give us our biggest move. But I think that will be the catalyst for JPY or USD/JPY to start selling pretty heavily, and the US dollar will lose its value. Now, I don't have any like factual data behind if the dollar is going to lose value. I'm just going off a technical standpoint. I'm hoping that the dollar loses value because of everything that's kind of like setting up with other cross pairs. We'll take a look at that. It does seem as if the dollar is going to lose some value. And actually, that's a good transition to go into look at gold. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I do want to make sure that I'm staying relevant to everything and anything that you guys want to take a look at. I really want to make sure that if you guys are confused on something, you also let me know. I think it's really important that, you know, the value, the education that's given is I want it to come from here. I know a lot of it, other individuals do, in fact, do like YouTube lives and everything, but they don't do it to the extent of actually, I would say, giving value. They just kind of like trade their shit. Hopefully you could place the same trade as them, get 10 pips, and you know what I mean? And that's why I think it's difficult too, because they also have a delay with the majority of their streams as well. So it's kind of hard trading live on YouTube, I would think it's a little bit better to educate and give value. So that's kind of like what I want to do. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Excuse me. And if there's any specific markets you would like to take a look at, also feel free to let me know as well. So again, just taking a quick look here at gold. This is something that I'm just really annoyed with. Not really in a sense, because I kind of figured what was originally going to happen, but I was looking at an idea, but the idea might actually come into play today. So we're going to scale out to a higher time frame, because what we're looking at with gold is a pretty strong idea, right? We came back up to this level, and I'm on the weekly time frame. We came back up to this level of previous structure being here. And I mean, that level of resistance is pretty important. You can see how the market rejected off of it. This is the entire zone. I know this is the highs. I know it broke above my little line there, but that's the entire zone. I just don't like my zones being that big, but we'll leave it there because obviously it's far away from our zone. And what we do is not going to, what I mean is, like, when we scale down to a smaller time frame, it's not going to, everything's not going to be in blue. You know what I mean? I could be able to see and identify everything. So what I'm looking at, especially here on the weekly, is a potential reversal candlestick pattern. If you don't know what these candlesticks are, I know legacy students understand exactly what this is, but this is going to turn into something. If you don't know, go look. And that's not to sound disrespectful, but that's just because I want everybody to understand that when you do your own due diligence, your own research, your own studying, you're then able to retain that knowledge a lot more. So I want you guys to go ahead and do that if you do not understand what this is. Now I'm going to go to the daily, because this is coming back. Actually, we'll stay here to the weekly, because this is coming back to a level of structure that I'm hoping that we'll start to buy from, especially with how gold is. I mean, this is a strong buyer's market. I don't want to go against the buys long term. I know right now it's in a strong sell, but what I'm looking at is this level of structure we're currently at right here. I'm going to get rid of this, actually. We'll leave this line. Actually, we'll put the line to the highs here. I'll make them both connect. So you can see here, this is another support range. Now, if anyone's confused, again, feel free to let me know. I want to make sure that no one is confused. But we are at a support range. I want to see what eventually happens here, right? And especially here on the weekly, I know a lot of you guys are like, why are you in such a strong and higher time frame? Is because what a lot of individuals are like, yo, gold selling, gold selling, gold selling. You need to identify what's considered a PRZ, potential reversal zone. So me being able to see something like that, support range, i.e. PRZ, potential reversal zone, that can give us an idea. I know what I'm saying about these candlestick patterns. It's a potential reversal pattern. But I said potential because it's not there yet. It's not the actual reversal pattern in general. That candlestick, that bullish one there with the large wick to the upside, that can be a deciding factor for bulls losing its steam. But that could just be for the correction that we're currently identifying right now. When we scale down to a smaller time frame, you can see this being the impulse, this being its correction. So when we use a Fibonacci retracement tool from the swing lows here to swing highs, I want to make sure perfect. There we go. You can see it's roughly around that 50% retrace ratio. Now, I'm not a man of saying that you always have to use a 61.8. You can never use a 50. No, use every fib ratio. So what I can see here is, again, this level of structure is probably going to hold. So I want to see some potential buys from this area. Let me actually scale down to the 4 hour and make sure that this, nope. Just wanted to see if this trend line was valid. Actually, if I correct it, let's see. Actually, I'll just do it here on the 4 hour. I'll get rid of it. Because I'm not going to try to take a trend line and cut through candles to try and make my analysis work. That's not how you do it. You can cut through wicks, but not candles. There we go. Yeah, I would actually use that. I would definitely use that trend line, because as you see, there's a connected point to the downside. You can see that it tried to break through, could not, and then you can see the respect all throughout. So yeah, I would actually use this trend line. Let me actually make sure it's, there we go. So I want to see what eventually happens here with gold. Now it can obviously break through and start to sell. I mean, that's a huge case for gold. I mean, it's already in a seller's market for right now, right? You can see the previous head and shoulders pattern that was developed and worked through. You can see the sells, but right now we're at a level of what could be considered a buy zone, right? So I do want to see how this initially reacts around this range. But yeah, if this does in fact, and that would be great too, because again, news here would really determine what's going to happen. If news comes out, negative for the dollar, then we should hopefully be identifying some potential buys from that area. And when I mean buys, I'm talking, this is FOMC I'm talking about, and potentially the news that's coming out here in about 8 minutes or so. What is it? The core retail, the retail sales. Now, I'm not a fundamental trader. I don't follow fundamentals. I don't have any information or knowledge on fundamentals. And I am going to take a look at that. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious or conscious about it, only because it does have a huge role in trading, but not my specific trading, right? Because I'm not a fundamental trader. I'm a technical trader. So I don't really pay attention to it. I don't really have any information or knowledge on it, but I am going to look at it, learn more on it, only because it does have a huge relationship with what we do. And I mean, if there's money to be made on it, why not? I mean, I know there's a lot of individuals who actually just simply trade news. Now, I don't know how they go about that as far as the studying that they do, because they're always looking at, actual fundamental resources. They're not even looking at charts. So I don't know how they go about that, but I do want to understand it, because I mean, that's a whole different world itself. And the way that news is, the way that it works is just, it's pretty crazy. Can I look at USD CAD? Yes, I can. What is that you want to identify with USD CAD? I was looking for buys on that, and I just said, nah, you're good. I was actually looking for buys roughly around here. Where is it? Oh, that's why I couldn't click anything. Okay. If I'm correct, I was looking for buys. Was it? It was roughly around here. It was around here. If I'm correct. If not, it was at the neckline here. I forgot exactly where my buys were, but I was looking at buys either at either one of these levels, but it doesn't matter because it wouldn't have worked anyway. But you can see here the neckline of a previous inverted head and shoulders pattern. So that showed me more continued buys, and it actually broke right through. It said, nah, you're good. And then I was actually looking for, this was the buys. I was actually looking for buys at the right shoulder, which is another level of previous structure for USD CAD, and it could not. But I mean, you can see here is just at a level of support. Now, I wouldn't say go ahead and buy. What's good, Steven? But what's good? But you can see here, I mean, we're just at a level of strong support. I mean, I know we're at support levels before, but look left to get right. You're at a support range. So there's a potential idea that this could buy. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is, again, because of news. And when I say that if news loses value, that will sell because the US dollar is losing value. But on a technical standpoint, if we're looking at what it can potentially do, is you're at a buy zone, but if it's broken through, you're no longer looking for buys. You're then looking for sells. So that's really it here with the USD CAD. That's a very easy one, to be honest. You can see, I mean, and this is not to sound disrespectful, but just look at it. You can see exactly what's happening. I'm not scaling out to a higher time frame because I already know what this looks like on a higher time frame. But I mean, you're at a buy zone. Let's do this. Buy zone if respected. And if let's actually add that. If broken, looking for continued sells. That's it. Does that correlate with your previous analysis that you were looking at? I'm assuming. If it does, let me know. But yeah, it's a pretty easy one. And that's not to sound, again, that's not to sound disrespectful. It's just identify what the market is actually giving you. You know what I mean? Like, I think what a lot of individuals, a lot of people have an issue with is that we believe that trading is this daunting task, this rocket science of a subject kind of thing. It isn't. Previous history will tell you what's going to happen in the future. This is previous history where we're currently at structure. It is considered a buy zone because what has happened there before, it has bought. So what's probably going to happen from there if in fact it is respected? The same thing. Now, I know actually there is Canadian news if I'm correct too, right? Oh, there was. Oh, yeah, there's Canadian news coming out here in a little bit too. So that's very, very. Oh, yeah, today's Wednesday. There's Canadian news every Wednesday. The CPI reports. So every Wednesday you're going to get at 8:30 a news event for the Canadian dollar and oil, right? So right now I'm not looking at this even on a technical standpoint. I'm going to let this all ride out on a fundamental factor, especially because of FOMC. So I would say that with USD CAD, just be careful, and Euro AUD. So I'll take a look at that right after. But yeah, I'd be very careful with this, and also I mean the same thing with this. We have to take into consideration that nothing is working on a technical factor. So Euro AUD is also a risky one because why? There's Australian news later on tonight. So USD CAD, we'll see what happens here within 2 minutes, and then we'll go to Euro AUD. Buy range, if broken to the downside, no longer looking for buys. There you go. And there's a head and shoulders pattern there. I'm pretty sure that's something that you are identifying. If that's what you saw and need confirmation on, then yes, that was in fact a head and shoulders pattern. You can see that the neckline here was broken and retested. The retest has already been respected and it's already selling, so the market is looking to the downside for sales. Add a Fibonacci from where it was. You can see here there was Fibonacci confluence, break and retest of previous structure. You can see the 50% retrace ratio being the Fib ratio that was respected and used to the downside. Euro AUD sells. That's C. You're in sells currently. There you go. But this is the thing, and this goes for everybody. Not telling my students the same thing, so I don't want anybody to feel hurt or offended or like I'm being mean. I'm not. I promise you. The psychological aspect and the markets are mean. I rather I be mean to you guys and be a drill sergeant than you guys having to be yelled at by the markets. Don't ever ask anybody, including me, for confluence on something that you're already in. Because what if I said, oh, this shit's a buy, you're going to close out your trade that's in profits, and then next thing you know, you're looking for buys, you're going to start buying it, you're going to lose money, and this just continues to push down lower when you should have held your sells. You know what I mean? Like, you want to fuck my confluence. Fuck what I say. That's me being real. Trust your own analysis, right? And I know a lot of you guys are always going to ask me like to look at a chart because you guys are probably in a chart. But I'm saying that because I want you guys to all understand that this is an individual sport. Nobody's going to hold your hand. Nobody's going to tell you, yes, go buy and sell that. I mean, I will, obviously. But in the sense of if you're on the charts by yourself, if you're not into a team or a program or any type of trading assistance and you're by yourself, you're going to have to make that decision yourself. Trust your own analysis. So if you're in sells, it means you trusted your analysis, and that's great because I do believe this is going to sell. I do believe that your take profits should at least be down to here, but again, be careful because we have Aussie news coming out later. So I'm gonna do that. So that was a pretty easy one as well. Now on the higher time frame, I already know this shit's selling. Euro AUD has not been a buy since I feel like World War II. But yeah, no, Euro AUD is a strong bearish market. You want to continue bearish, and that's it. That's basically it. Now on the higher time frame, I'm not going to do anything because I hate when people say, Jay, that's really all you do. Yeah, because what does this trend line have to do anything with my current analysis and my current entry down here? I don't need to do anything. I don't care about the structure that's all the way up here because it has nothing to do with my personal trade right now. So that's why when a lot of individuals are like, oh, Jay doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't mark up his charts. No, I mark them up, but I'm not going to care about what's happening in 200 BC. You know what I mean? Like, none of this is important to me anymore. But I'm only going to, not only, but I'm going to identify everything that the market is currently giving me. I already understand what's previously happened. I understand the true trend of the market. So I don't need to do too much on my chart. This is pretty much all I would need. I'm understanding right now. So head and shoulders pattern, which is a continuation pattern in the sense, continuation because it's continuing the downtrend. And you can already see it's making lower lows, lower highs. We can see this trend line being respected. We see the break in the retest. And if this level of structure right here is broken, then we absolutely know what the market's going to do next. So I would say hold yourselves. learned that last week. What about trusting your own analysis? I promise, bro. If I would have trusted my own analysis, I would say the first 2 weeks of me ever learning how to trade, I would have been, I wouldn't have to have struggled with the first 2 years of my learning experience. You know what I mean? Because it's all about just trusting your own analysis. I literally listened to everybody else but myself, and then I just ended up losing everything. And then once I said, you know what? I really don't know if that person like is that trade style works for me when they're taking profits. I don't know what they're doing. I just trust myself, and that's when I became consistent. So trust your own analysis over everything. I wrote it down from the top. Perfect. If you wrote it down from the top, that's amazing. You know what I mean? I would just say hold your trade. Hold your trade. All right. What other markets would you guys like to take a look at? Somebody else. I want to make sure that I get to everybody. Don't feel shy. If everybody's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I am confused. That's great. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to help you guys and lead you in the right direction as far as profits are concerned. I hate EuroCAD because I had such a solid trade set up on this, and it just said, nah, you're good. And now it would be in profits. Like my entry was here, even though it would have been profits. The entry was off. I mean, my analysis was damn near perfect. I was actually in profits here for a little bit. Then it shot right back up, and then I mean, what is that? Almost 100 pips. It would have actually been in profits right now for 100 something pips. That's crazy. But I mean, that's the markets for you. Let me see. Any other questions? Any other markets and charts you guys want to take a look at? Feel free to let me know. I definitely want to make sure that I'm helping everybody and assisting to the best of my abilities. But yeah, if you guys got anything, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you. GBP, JPY just continue. Like these yen pairs, man, they're just. It's actually just the pound pairs, honestly, too. These pound pairs just want to be more along the lines of bullish. There we go. I'll actually just leave that right there. I'll look for some potential sales. Your call was right. It came 2 days later. Oh, you're talking about for which call? For EuroCAD? Is that what you're saying? And I'm sorry, I know there's a huge delay, so I know everything's like back and forth, so I do apologize for that. Let me actually just write this down because I'll be looking for sales for students on this. And if actually with GJ, if this actually does fruition to be a sell, I'll actually share the signal with you guys in Discord as well. So sell zone. So if anybody's new to what I'm doing, if you just joined onto the call, and I do want to extend my gratitude for everybody being on right now. I know this is a brand new YouTube. I'm just getting really started with the consistency on this. I've been wanting to do YouTube for a bit, but I've been having so many different moving pieces and a bunch of stuff moving, like just a lot. Life is crazy. No matter where you are in the tax bracket, you still got to deal with life and obstacles. So now that that's out the way, and it was nothing too crazy. It was just like moving back and forth, Utah, New York, Florida, Puerto Rico. It's just a lot. So now that we actually have the consistency behind this, I want to grow this, and I do want to extend my gratitude for everybody who's currently on right now. You know what I mean? Like it's very important that I grow this through value, consistency, and a lot of profits being made, not just through legacy students, but for anybody who's obviously on these live sessions on YouTube. And I'll be doing binary sessions again at nights with legacy students because I do want to really dabble in that market. You know what I mean? I think that market should be beneficial for everybody. But, you know, for everybody who's on right now, thank you. I really do appreciate your time, your trust in learning with me, at least going through the charts and really helping myself and my students. Again, just mark some things up, really be as detailed as possible so that way everybody can benefit. So with my gratitude extended, I'll be sharing profits and sharing signals with you guys throughout my Discord as well. Again, I'm getting that worked on so that way it's, you know, it looks beautiful. There's a lot more value for you guys. And it's just not like one piece, I feel like. So I definitely got you guys here in a little bit. So definitely stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more value. If you guys can share the YouTube, help me grow this, that would be really great. It's only going to help you guys in the long run because I do want to build this community just, again, based off of just pure value, pure trading, and pure profits. So I definitely appreciate you guys. You also gave a warning for Euro USD. Oh, let me go back to that. Euro USD. For which one are you talking about? What did I say? For the potential buy? Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, so you actually took that analysis for the buys, I'm assuming. Yeah, I actually kept that analysis here because I did place that trade. It was a little risky only because I don't like placing too many trades during such a strong news week. But well, yeah, I do believe that. I mean, if you did place that trade, you should be in profits. It should have been profitable a few times. You can see here it bought, and then bought again. So yeah, if you were able to, I think this was on Monday, if I'm correct. Yeah, this was actually on Monday because I remember the double bottom, the break. Yeah, so yeah, you can actually see how that worked out beautifully for us, and that also goes to the fact of your patience, right? You can see how. And I think you said Euro USD. Yeah, okay, Euro USD. I thought it said Euro CAD for a second. But yeah, you can see here how the market should in fact work. And you can also see here is developing into something. So I do believe that what we're going to be looking at here with a lot of our, and there was no real reaction, I guess, with the news. Let me actually go, we'll take a look at that here in a second. But yeah, you can see how the market is forming a inverted head and shoulders pattern now. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So that right there is telling me something important, right? Now we are at the current neckline. So I would think that the market will eventually, and I would think that this might come crashing back lower, actually. This might actually come right back down to this point, which would be beautiful. We are at that neckline. I would think that the majority of the market is going to have more of a reaction as soon as the news comes out, right? As soon as we get some strong news from here, be it FOMC, and we'll actually, since we're on here, let's go ahead and see negative for the dollar. That is a tall tale sign of things, and came out positive for the Canadian dollar. So let's go ahead and take a look at USD CAD. Look at that. Not really a strong reaction, but there is some type of reaction. So this is still very much considered a buy zone for USD CAD. Now, again, I know it came out negative for the dollar and came out positive for the Canadian dollar. This should, I believe, had a stronger reaction. But with both of those factors, this is still considered a buy zone only because it's not technically broken through. But I would think with both of those factors, we shouldn't be looking for buys on this just yet. We'll allow this market to develop, really show us what it wants to do. But I wouldn't say buys just yet. So, yeah, I would think that we should hold off on this for right now. But if this is still respected, I mean, you can't go against what the market is leaving behind on a technical standpoint, especially if the news can't conjure up enough energy to actually break this to the downside. I would think that this market, or this structure rather, or the Canadian dollar rather, is probably not as strong as it should be. And we'll look for potential buys on this. Now, I'm not saying go buy this now. There is no trades on this just yet. But I would say be very careful. Let's go ahead and take a look at USD/JPY. Okay, still just chilling around there. So yeah, no real reaction on this 8:30 news here. Excuse me, for core retail sales, which is just leading me to believe that there's just going to be a strong reaction during the FOMC, which would be great because I do think that the dollar will continue to lose its initial value, or not continue, because it hasn't even lost value, and it has. Like, it's the weirdest thing. We'll actually take a look at the DXY. I know I'm bouncing back and forth through things, but just trying to be as detailed as possible. You guys aren't really telling me any charts. You guys are just paying attention, which is beautiful. So I really want to be as detailed as possible, answer any questions without you guys even having to ask. So on the DXY, we'll actually go here on the daily, and then we'll scale to the weekly. You can see here that the dollar has just been increasing in value, especially during the pandemic, which is weird, especially during this time. How everything is working fundamentally, which is weird. And then what we're also looking at with gold, it was in a strong buy. Now it's selling off. I do believe that's just a corrective sell. I don't think that's just going to last very long. I do think it's going to continue to buy. But what's crazy is when gold is buying, the dollar should be selling. Gold's buying, dollar's buying. Very weird fundamentally. The correlation between those two usually work pretty symbiotically, in the sense that when one's up, the other one's down. When one's down, the other one's up. Not so much the case with this right now, and it hasn't been the case here for a bit. So it's just a very weird time that we're currently in. And if we scale out to the weekly, I think that the DXY, or thought rather, I mean, it still very much can come up to that level of structure. I think long term, the dollar is going to increase in value. The reason being, this is on a fundamental aspect, the pandemic, right? The coronavirus. It took such a strong hit. The DXY rather, look, this is literally pandemic time. Dollar just completely tanked. Now they're trying to recoup that loss and actually extend to the higher upside of where the dollar used to be. That's on a fundamental aspect. Even on a technical standpoint, we can kind of see that. But the measures that they're doing it by, I don't know. But I think that the dollar on a fundamental aspect will continue to be bullish long term. But that's just my belief on a technical and even somewhat on a fundamental aspect. With how everything is panning out, though, especially with cryptocurrency, which we'll touch base on here shortly, it doesn't seem as if that may be the case. Now, that's just, again, I do believe that the dollar will increase in value over time, but there's a lot of factors kind of making me lean towards that. I might be wrong on that. Cryptocurrencies being a huge factor in the market right now. A lot of individuals are saying, well, why should I keep investing anything into the dollar, the stock markets, which have been taking a huge hit, because everybody's transferring over to cryptocurrency, even banks, right? Even banks are doing it. So with the idea of the dollar being, I would say, every single currency being in competition with actual cryptocurrency, I think a lot of what we're going to see is a lot of fiat money being a lot less valuable and cryptocurrencies taking over. I know that's kind of like on a huge tangent and I probably went off a little bit, but again, just being as detailed as possible on a few things because they all do correlate together, right? The dollar losing value, that'll mean gold is going to increase and continue to buy, hopefully, because it hasn't been doing that. And then if the dollar's decreasing in value, I do believe with the decrease in value of the dollar, we'll start to see a skyrocket in cryptocurrency, which we'll take a look at right now. I don't think that right now we're going to get that because what cryptocurrency is setting up to do, which actually I didn't realize that's a beautiful transition to actually talk about what I think is going to happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys or alert you guys when to start investing, but I will tell you guys what I think is going to happen. Obviously, legacy students, I'll tell you guys exactly when to start investing. I'm going to have a cryptocurrency side. I already had one, but I'm going to make it a lot more detailed. There's going to be a cryptocurrency side of legacy where it's going to tell you guys exactly when and where to invest and what coins to invest in. But right now, I will give you guys my idea of what I believe is going to happen with the majority of all cryptocurrencies, being Bitcoin the main one, because when this moves, I mean, everything else moves for the most part as well. And if there's any other cryptocurrency coins that you guys want to take a look at, feel free to let me know. There's probably some that you guys know that I definitely don't know because I'm not a crypto expert. I just simply trade everything on a technical standpoint. Same thing here with cryptocurrencies. And I'm pretty sure, especially legacy students, you guys already know exactly my belief on this, and we already went over this, and you guys already see the pattern, I'm sure. But this is a telltale sign of what's going to happen next. Now, laugh at me now. And this is being recorded, so you guys can come back at this and laugh at yourselves and be like, damn, I should have listened when this happens. I do believe that cryptocurrencies, or Bitcoin rather, to be specific, will come crashing back down to like the $15,000 to the $10,000 handle. But to be specific, I'll use these highs only because, again, this is the previous resistance. Now this will be the entire zone. I'll just draw this entire zone for you guys. So from swing high here to this entire zone there. So just roughly around that area. Now, if everybody's like, really, Jay, that's kind of far-fetched, that's ridiculous, what about my investments? I would say pull your investments out, or at least do not invest anymore. If you guys can't see what I see, then you're going to learn today. What can I see right here? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Jay, that's impossible. You can't be using a head and shoulders pattern in cryptocurrency. Yes, you can, because look at the break of the neckline. Now it's not only broken the neckline. What else can you guys see? You see how it's weird how we could just use one line and just try to make the markets as simple as possible, not overcomplicate it, and start to see a lot of different factors. What is that? It's a break and a retest. Let's write that out. There it is. So break, and then we have a retest over here. So if I can see something like that, that's going to tell me that the market is probably going to continue to sell from here. Let's take a look. We're going to scale down to the daily. Ooh, I don't like the way that looks, but it's still very much valid. We're going to go from swing highs here, swing lows. Oh, look at that. 618. This is your kill zone for sells. Came to retest that zone perfectly. So what's most likely going to happen here with Bitcoin, everybody? I think it's going to continue to sell and sell heavy. Now we'll just actually draw this as our support because it is our support. It can come back down to that level here, start to buy off of it, or better yet, if that level of structure to the downside is broken, then what I'm thinking down here to be our next investment range is true. So I'll get rid of this fib so no one's confused. I'll get rid of this as well. And what I am going to do is add what we would consider a counter trend line. Why would I put that? Because if that's broken, it could look something like that. You know what I mean? Like, not too difficult. So I do believe that Bitcoin long term will continue to sell. I do think that the majority of all cryptos will actually go take a look at XRP, USD, and see what this is doing. Now, XRP is kind of like in its own little world because it's weird how XRP is like the ugly stepchild, if you will, because it got in trouble. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it got in trouble with the SEC because it was basically two entities trying to act as one. And they got into a lot of trouble. They got a huge lawsuit. And they even got delisted on Coinbase and other platforms. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure they're tradable again now. But it crashed back down to like 17 cents. I'm correct. If I'm correct, it was like this. 17. No, it was way lower than that. Yeah, it was over here, actually. Jesus. So, yeah, this was it right here, if I'm correct. This was the XRP, or over here, the XRP when they got in trouble. But as you can see, they became much more valuable over time. I do think that that'll be the case with them outside of everything else. This is the only one that I think that I'll start investing back into even now because they still kind of act legally, I would say. They still kind of are their own entity. They don't necessarily follow suit or correlate with the majority of other cryptocurrencies. I do think that XRP is going to have a strong rally to the upside. If you guys can't see it, you guys can see it now. All right. I think that this will eventually skyrocket. The inverted head and shoulders pattern here at a level of structure is important. Oh, let me actually go to the weekly and do this. So I think that's actually going to skyrocket. So if anybody's wanting to invest into anything, I do think that if any cryptocurrency should be invested into, it should be here on Ethereum, on XRP. I do think that, I just personally believe Ethereum is going to be the best cryptocurrency in my opinion. That's like the only one that I personally I have like 90% of all my investments into. I think Ethereum, Ripple, Shiba Inu, weirdly, will be the coins that you guys should be focused on, especially for long-term growth. But yeah, I think Ripple, and I might actually go ahead and start putting some more money into Ripple even today because this inverted head and shoulders pattern is just, it looks beautiful. You know, I mean, you can't go against what the market is giving you. So I do think that right now, Ripple, if anybody wants to invest into anything, should be the strongest investment. Now, I know a lot of people love order blocks and bank trading and all that. I like that idea, but I think this right here will be considered your order block, your supply zone. So that actually hit perfectly, and you can see how it's been. Yeah, so you know what? What I'm going to do right after this is I'm going to go into my Coinbase wallet, and I'm actually going to go ahead and invest some money into Ripple. I think that might be a beautiful little investment right there. So hopefully you guys can follow suit with that. And personally, unfortunately, actually, because I completely forgot, I unfortunately have some family matters to attend to. Grandma ain't doing so good, so we got to go get her. And I'm the driver, so I got to actually go make sure that I go get her here in a second. So unfortunately, I do have to conclude here and make sure that I go handle that. But what I do want to say is I'm very grateful, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to you guys helping me, right? Because I do want to grow this YouTube community into something great. And I promise this is going to be beneficial to students in every single way, especially with the value that I have coming out for you guys, especially throughout just the Discord. I don't like speaking on things because I jinx it, and I think I've jinxed myself into bad luck, but I'm actually putting on 2 other traders onto our auto trader and to send signals out. Now, I personally know these dudes. I'm not just hiring anybody. I don't know why they even decided to do this. To be honest, I was just having a conversation with them and they just offered it. I am obviously going to pay them, but they don't need to even be paid. I don't even know why they're doing this. They got their own Forex companies. They make way more money than I can even imagine. I don't even ask them how much they make, but when you wear a different Rolex every single day, you got to be making some type of, you know what I mean? I got two Rolexes. These niggas wearing a different one every day. You know what I mean? That's a different tax bracket. But no, they're actually going to be sending out signals. They're actually going to be auto trading for legacy students as well. Just a lot of value that I want to be putting out to you guys. So the more that this grows, it'll help everybody, because I'm even going to try, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I'm going to try to put out an auto trader on a free aspect, where it's like 1 to 2 trades a week, but they're swing trades where you're looking at anywhere between 100 to 500 pips. Obviously, legacy students are going to get that, and they're also going to get intraday trades, 20, 30, 50 pips. So you guys are going to be getting what I'm trying to go for is at least 1,000 to 2,000 pips a week for legacy students. I have not reached that yet. Transparency-wise, my trading has been shit. I don't know what it is. Like, my trading has not been as great as it normally is. Like, I'm consistently trading for about 5 years in total. I would say 7 years trading, 5 years profitable. That's just being real. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to be transparent and honest as possible. But I just kind of like hit this little hump where trading has not been great. So what I'm trying to do to replace that, not replace that, but try to get back to my winning ways of just, I would say, consistent, because of course wins are there, but it's just more along the lines of the consistency. I'm trying to go for 1,000 to 2,000 pips every single week. Usually on a personal level, I try to go for 300 to 500 a week, but I'm trying to, I don't know, I have this this desire to try to be the gold standard in Forex trading. So with your help, it's like, I promise you guys this will be valuable for every single person here in the near future. And I appreciate that. Yo, praise for grandma. She's good, man. She just, you know what I mean? It's life, and gets old in her 90s. It's what happens. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's exactly why I want to give back value too, because I want to make sure that everybody, no matter where you are in life, you'll be able to take care of your loved ones. Because I see how difficult it is. When I was in the hospital, like, people don't have insurance, people don't have money, people don't have, it's tough, you know. So I see what trading could do, I see what the profits can do and the value could bring. So I just want to give that to everybody and make sure that value and profits is being expelled everywhere. So with that being said, I want to extend my gratitude to you guys. Thank you guys for being on today. Thank you guys for taking the time out to learn. If you shared this with anybody, I appreciate that. The stream here will actually be increasing in value. I'm getting overlays. I'll have a webcam on. I'll be more interactive with you guys. I'll have a chat so that way I can see everything, even here on the side with you guys. So everything's going to be a lot more valuable for you guys as this continues to grow. So again, from my heart, I extend my gratitude. Thank you guys for being on with me today. Legacy students, you guys are legends. I can't extend my gratitude, my love to you guys even more. We will be jumping onto a call tonight, hopefully my Discord, because you guys can see I don't even have access to my damn Discord. I don't have the VIP section. I'm one of you guys right now. I'm here in the chat with you all. But once that's set up, we will be trading binary again. I actually want to practice binary sessions, or binary trading rather, with you guys, see what profits we can conjure up with that, and make sure that our strategy, because when we were trading it, I mean, we were killing binary sessions. So I want to continue with that and see how much money we can make with that as well. So we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow morning as far as the YouTube live is concerned. Legacy students, I'll see you guys later on tonight for a binary practice session. If it goes well, I mean, I personally feel like I can trade binary extremely profitable. So I'm actually going to go ahead and probably throw some money in there and start trading some binary options with some live money. I do think that I could trade that pretty profitably. So we'll actually go ahead and do that tonight as well. I'll make an update as soon as I can. As soon as our Discord is back up and running, I'll make sure that I get that over to you guys. So with that being said, thank you guys. I appreciate every last one of you guys being on. If you guys have any questions throughout the day, feel free to hit me up on Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Smoke Signal, Carrier Pigeon, email. I don't care. Whatever you guys want. Morse code, message in a bottle from across the country. I'll pick it up here over in Orchard Beach. Nah, I'm kidding. Don't ever go to Orchard Beach. I appreciate you guys. And K-Win, the Conscious Lifestyle Enthusiast, thank you. I saw that you subscribed today. I appreciate you subscribing and following. Stay updated with everything, and I promise I'll lead you to the right direction as far as Forex trading and profits are concerned. So thank you for your subscription and follow. I appreciate that. If you are not subscribed, please do. It'll help me, and it'll help you guys in the long run as well. Let's build this community throughout profits. Let's build this community throughout value, and I'll make sure that I give you guys as much of my knowledge, time, and experience as possible. So with that being said, everybody, thank you. I love every last one of you guys. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning as well. Again, any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'm always available for you guys. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
Sweet Lord, please have mercy. Baby Jesus, please save us. I know I used up my 3 favors. Back to sending like a week later. New car, speed racer, copper crib, need acres. Most of all, we all need prayer. Karma coming, beware. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope I'm on the right path. Life will hit you with a light jab. Mike Tyson, strike back. You niggas going out slight sad. Boy, I'm all about my bag. New drip, I grab. I just wanna get my life back. There's no complaining on this side. My nigga shit is not tolerated. Cause some niggas off like an operation. Now my team way more consolidated. Sweet presidential, that's inauguration. Cause we cooking crack like Ronald Reagan. Chip on my shoulder, boy, I'm not for waiting. Divine timing took a lot of patience. Now it's time for the takeover. All gas and the brake slower. Took a trip out to Tokyo. Now I'm here in Paris for the layover. Fuck old niggas, boy, your day's over. You mad at me cause your pay slower. Better nigga, you a shade though. I was just sleeping on a sofa. Now I ride with a pay chauffeur. Cause I'm way doper, better stay sober. I paint pictures, you a Crayola. Got a bad bitch and she laid over. She really asked cause she stayed over. I told her that we need to face closure. The smell of money has a great odor. These are things that I prayed over. Sweet Lord, please have mercy. Baby Jesus, please save us. I know I used up my 3 favors. Back to sending like a week later. New car, speed racer, copper crib, need acres. Most of all, we all need prayer. Karma coming, beware. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope I'm on the right path. Life will hit you with a light jab. Mike Tyson, strike back. You niggas going out slight sad. Boy, I'm all about my bag. New drip, I grab. I just wanna get my life back. Why cry over spilled milk if you still feel I'm the real deal? My bitch bad with no ill will. She'll murk a nigga like Kill Bill. Loose lips, sink ships, Cameron, pink drip, that is my fashion. I'm not really with the high flashing. It's no helping with my bragging. I penetrated, been the greatest. New house, renovated. I got the juice, you eliminated. Pussy niggas always instigating. Can't fuck me over, boy, I'm too clever. That applies all to whoever. I'm just here to pursue pleasure, boy, I'm going out like you have. Sweet Lord, please have mercy. Baby Jesus, please save us. I know I used up my 3 favors. Back to sending like a week later. New car, speed racer, copper crib, need acres. Most of all, we all need prayer. Karma coming, beware. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope I'm on the right path. Life will hit you with a light jab. Mike Tyson, strike back. You niggas going out slight sad. Boy, I'm all about my bag. New drip, I grab. I just wanna get my life back.